Hey everybody, welcome back. MarshaunO here, your favorite life and relationship strategist, and I help you to get unstuck in your relationship, to stop having unnecessary arguments so you can get from doing those things to get back to loving one another, to get back to understanding one another, to get back to feeling the intimacy within your relationship. If you need some help doing any of those things, then reach out to me. My email is down in the description box below. Now, today I want to talk to you guys about, are you the silent sufferer or are you the constant complainer? Now let me just explain the difference in the two. The silent sufferer holds everything in for fear of appearing shrewish. The constant complainer can't stop talking. They complain about any and everything. Although the complaints are justified, but it's the frequency of them that is the annoying portion of the constant complainer. Because you are constantly complaining, and if you are the silent sufferer, neither of you are getting what it is that you want. So I'm going to go a little bit deeper into both of them so you can determine if you can, and you can decide which one you are, and then think about how to change that, how you're showing up right now. So let's talk about the silent sufferer right now. You may bring up your feelings in a confrontational way, if ever, once a month or never. So you could be considered the silent sufferer if you never bring up your complaints, if you only do it every once in a while, or if you just keep everything in and then all of a sudden here you come exploding. Now I have to say, I know that a lot of people do this. Even though you might not think and look at yourself as a person that suffers in silence, you totally do if you are the person that just blows up about the small thing. It's basically the straw that broke the camel's back, and all of a sudden now you're just spewing all of these things that you should have said earlier, but now they're all coming out. The floodgates have been open, and now you are determined to rip your partner's butt wide open, okay? So maybe you are a silent sufferer if you do that. Another thing to think about if you're the silent sufferer is when the message is delivered, it's an explosive or planned, versus planned discussion. So I already mentioned the explosion of it, right? So instead of you planning to have a discussion about, you know what, I don't like the way he actually spoke with me. I don't like the thing that he did to me or her did to me yesterday. So instead of you blowing up in that moment, take a step back, right? Think about the things that you actually want to say to your partner, to your spouse, so they can actually hear you and they're not distracted by the yelling, by the explosion. So maybe you're a silent sufferer if you explode versus have planned discussions. Now, when you plan these discussions, your spouse, your partner does not have to know that it is a plan. It is a plan for you to be able to release, for you to be able to get these things off of your chest. Plan them for you so you can have a structure or a tailored way to deliver your message to your spouse. You can even write these things down, because I don't know if you're like me, but sometimes I get distracted because I'm getting interrupted when I'm trying to deliver the message that I'm trying to give to my husband. So I write things down, so even if I get disrupted, I can always go back to my reference point or move on to the next point, depending on what it is, right? So that way I have a clear idea of the things that I want to deliver to my husband. Maybe that is something that you can work on yourself. Maybe that will work for you. Another thing, number 3, you keep a mental list of what they haven't done, but you rarely share it with him, so, or her. You think that this person, you think that your spouse, you think that your partner is a mind reader. And so instead of you delivering the message, instead of you just actually saying what it is that you want, what it is that you need, you keep a mental list of all the things that he or she has not done for you. Don't do that. This is a destroyer of your marriage, of your relationship, for sure. Number 4, you can feel the emotional distance within your relationship. Now, I'm not talking about right after an argument, because there is going to be some emotional distance after an argument, But if by and large, you're the person, again, you're holding all this stuff in, you have the explosions versus the planned discussions, you're keeping a mental checklist of all the things that you have not received, that your partner has not done for you, and now you even feel the emotional distance within your relationship. The fifth thing to think about is that you don't feel the infrequent fights / discussions are productive, deeming that you ought to leave. So you don't even think that you're getting what you want out of the, even when you do have the discussion, you don't even feel like you're getting what it is that you need out of that particular discussion or many discussions like that. And so in your mind, you might as well just go ahead and leave. That is you, those 5 things. If any of those 5 things resonate with you, or the majority, I should say, then you, sis, you, bruh, are a silent sufferer. I've already given you some examples while I was speaking on what you can do differently. So if you need to go back and take some notes and then actually start to implement those things into your relationship so you can stop suffering in silence, so you can actually let your voice be heard to your spouse, to your partner. Now, on the flip side of that, are you the constant complainer? Are you the person that complains about everything? Basically, you cannot shut up. You need to get it all out and let this person have it about every minute detail and thing that he or she has done wrong, or that you deem them to be wrong doing. So you're a constant complainer if you are verbally assaulting your partner several times a day, several times a week. Several times a week means many times during the week, I should say. Several times a day, let me rephrase that. Several times a day means that you are assaulting your partner several times, and many, many more times during the week. So just imagine how many times you're assaulting your spouse or partner in 1 month. And then add those up over a year. That is a toxic relationship, ladies and gentlemen, if you did not know. Let me put the stamp of approval on their toxic relationship that nobody wants to be a part of. Number 2, you're a constant complainer if you hear yourself get loud or more agitated and your partner gets quieter. So you're the one who's the raging bull, and your spouse is either just sitting there looking at you, maybe they have their arms folded, or maybe they're even just looking at the floor, or maybe they've been playing with their device, which pisses you off even more. It's because you complain about everything, which means I don't know which thing is the most important that I need to start working on in order to win your good graces back. Everything pisses you off. Everything annoys you, and I cannot seem to do anything right for you because you complain about everything. You don't make anything more important than the next thing. Everything is important to you, which is draining. It's exhausting. It's overwhelming, and nobody wants to be in a relationship like that. The third thing, you tend to have monologues during your fights for 15 minutes or more, and even following your spouse around the house so you can get your point out. Which monologue, if you don't know what a monologue is just like I'm doing right now. It's only me speaking. So if you find that when you're having these arguments, when you're having these discussions, that you're the only one that's speaking for really lengthy time frames, especially 15 minutes, or if you feel like you and your spouse is going back and forth, and all of a sudden your spouse is like, you know what, I'm done, I'm out of here, let's take a breather, but you're not done, and now you're following this person throughout the house just because you need to get your point. Listen, toxic behavior. But in this instance as well, you are definitely a constant complainer. You complain about everything, and you will never be happy doing that. Neither will your spouse, i.e. this relationship is in trouble. If you cannot get a handle on it, you will lose this relationship. The fourth thing to think about, you often feel worse, more anxious, or depressed by the time the monologue is over. Again, this one-sided conversation that you continuously have because you need to get everything off your chest. You need to spew venom at every minor detail that your spouse or partner, that you feel that they are not doing, that they are not giving to you. Again, prioritize. Make sure that when you are complaining, because you have a right to complain, they are justified complaints. It's just the frequency, right? How often are you complaining? Are you like compiling a list and then giving it all to them at one time? Or is it every single day, multiple times a day? you have something to complain about, because everything that comes up here does not need to come out here. It doesn't. Figure some things out. Let some things slide. None of us are perfect. And as much as we really know that, we're still looking for these perfect partners that do not exist. So try to lessen the stress around your household by compiling a list and then giving it to your spouse all at one time, and letting some things slide, because none of us are perfect. There are going to be some things in your relationship that you just have to deal with. And over a period of time, they will not bother you, because you'll be able to see the beauty in your spouse versus the things that they're not doing right, or the negative things that they're bringing to the table, especially if they're minor things like leaving the toilet seat up, or not putting the toothpaste cap on the toothpaste, or whatever it is, the minor things. Maybe they snore at night. Maybe they always steal the covers at night. There are going to be some things that you have to deal with in your relationship that are not necessarily ideal. However, if you're constantly complaining about any and everything, your spouse, your partner does not know what's the most important, what's the priority, which one should I actually work on. I feel like I need to work on all of them. You know what, let me just go, because I'm not good enough for this person. I'm not able to give he or she what they need. It's too much. It's too much. The fifth and final thing to think about, maybe you're a constant complainer. If you don't feel the fights are productive for either of you in the long term. So, are you a constant complainer or a silent sufferer? Does any of these things resonate with you? Please let me know down in the comment section below. Now, to change these things around, to improve the relationship, I'm gonna give you 3 things to do on both sides. If you're a silent sufferer and or if you are a constant complainer. The first thing is the quantity that you talk, the quantity that you speak. If you don't talk enough, i.e. the silent sufferer, you need to speak up more often. If you talk too damn much, as in the constant complainer, you need to shut up a little bit more. You only, again, everything that comes up here does not need to be spewed out here. Not every single solitary thing. The silent sufferer, you need to speak up more so you can get a lot more of that stress out of your body, out of your system, so you can feel like you are heard in this relationship, as well as loved in this relationship, and that you matter in this relationship. Speak up. The second thing to do on either side is the content in itself. Again, are you just complaining about any and everything that comes out of your mouth? You're not making anything a priority, as for the constant complainer. And then for the silent sufferer, again, make sure it's something that is important, so when you bring it up, your spouse and your partner is able to actually hear you, because they're like, wait a minute, he don't complain a lot, she don't complain a lot, this is something I need to pay attention to. Again, the content in itself. And then the third thing is the quality of your voice and or your emotions. Try to keep your emotions at bay when you're having these conversations with your spouse, because it makes a difference. And only thing, especially if you are the woman who does this, and men do this too, okay? Don't get me wrong. I just know that a lot more women have the emotional front when it comes out, when they need to get something across. Again, men do this too. But the point of it is this. Whenever you're trying to get your point across, you want to be able to get straight to the point, number one. So lose all the fluff. You lose all the fluff, get straight to the point. What is the issue? What is the problem? And then how does that make you feel? The second portion of that. The third part is, what is the solution? So get it out. Get it out all together. And then your tone of voice as well, because I truly believe that you can say anything that you need to say. It's all a matter of how you say it. Is it a whole bunch of attitude? Is it a lot of yelling and screaming? Is it punching walls to try to get the attention? Like, how are you actually delivering the message that you want your partner to pick up on, for them to receive? Are they able to easily receive it, depending on the way that you are giving it to them, the way that you are delivering it to them? Please let me know. Did this help you? Are you going to take these tips into consideration and implement them into your relationship, so your relationship can be that much better? So you can, i.e., number one, stop suffering in silence or stop being the constant complainer? Let me know down in the comment section below. I love you guys. Love, love, love you guys. Thank you so much for coming back. And again, if you need help in your relationship, please send me an email at MarshaunOlanio.com. It is in the description box below. And finally, depending on where you are, check out my Facebook groups. That information is down in the comment section below as well. It depends on the state that you're in. If you're a person that is single, not dating anyone, but you're trying to get yourself together, or you are in the dating phase, then join my Dating to Marriage Facebook group. If you are a person that is in a long-term relationship and or married, then I have a specific group just for you as well called Relationship Bootcamp 101. Go ahead and send me a request so we can connect even further off of YouTube, and I will see you guys in the next video. Again, MarshaunOlanio, your favorite life and relationship strategist. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye now.